Hey, Dave Ferry here. Welcome to this series of videos about using the Scenic Express scenery products. Today I'm going to show you some of the products that Scenic Express offers and how best to use them. So let's get started. I want to talk a little bit about Hydrocal. This is Hydrocal casting stone. The product is Ultracal 30, made by US Gypsum. For scenery and rock casting applications, you'll find that Hydrocal is probably the best product to use because if it's mixed properly with water, it will set to a very, very hard consistency. A very thin cross-section has great strength. And in a rubber mold, the resulting casting will give you a rock that defies description. It'll hold all the detail of the original. Okay, what I have here is a mixing bowl, and this is a dental mixing bowl, and it's been used a lot. And the advantage of this is that it's made out of rubber, so that if any plaster or Hydrocal or Ultracal dries in this, all you have to do is squeeze it and it all falls out. We're going to start by mixing the plaster. This is the correct way, by the way. This is the way my art teacher told me how to do this about 50 years ago. I'm going to put a little bit of water in the bowl. Now I'm going to add enough Hydrocal until the water absorbs it all. You want to add the plaster to the water, and you want to keep adding the plaster until the water will absorb no more plaster. By doing it this way, you're making sure that all of the plaster is completely hydrated. What does that mean? It means that all the molecules in the plaster have absorbed all of the water that they can. This started out as alabaster stone, and it's baked in a 2,000-degree oven. All of the water is baked out of it. That's where you get plaster, and then we're rehydrating it by introducing it to water again. So we're allowing the water to absorb the plaster, and you'll notice if you do it this way, you won't get any bubbles in your plaster. Now it's being absorbed. It may take a few minutes here. And then when all of the plaster has been absorbed, I'm going to take my spatula and I'm just going to incorporate the plaster with the water. Okay, this is pretty well incorporated. And you know when the plaster is mixed correctly because most of it will stick to the spoon, which is the test for making good mayonnaise, I guess. But we're making plaster, and we have a Woodland Scenics rock mold here. This is a commercially available rock mold, and we're going to spray it with Super Wet. This is a wetting agent sold by Scenic Express. It's a wonderful product just for this use. So we're going to take our mold, we're going to take it off camera here, and I'm going to wet it so that the mold is wet. We're going to shake out the excess water, and then we're going to put our Hydrocal into the mold. Pull this back so you can see what I'm doing. You can see the Hydrocal is pretty thick, and it's going to fill up the mold pretty well. All right, we have filled our mold about 80% here, which is good enough for this demo, and I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit. I want to make sure that there are no air bubbles trapped in here. And you can see this is pretty thick now, and it's setting fast. And how do you know it's setting? Well, it's getting warm. It has what they call a high snap point. In other words, when it's ready to kick, it's going to kick, and it's going to be bingo, and you're going to have a nice hard casting. So it's getting really warm now. It's an endothermic reaction. So we're going to wait 10 minutes, allow it to set, and then I'll show you the casting we produced. Okay, about 10 minutes have gone by. Actually a little less. The mold, the casting is pretty warm, but it's hot enough to remove from the mold. So what you want to do, you want to go around the edge and just pull the mold away from the casting. Of course, the longer you let the casting sit in the mold, the more detail you're going to capture on the surface, because right now I'm pulling it out while this is still pretty warm. So we may lose a little surface detail. But it looks like it's ready to come out here. Here it comes. Wow, we haven't lost much of it. So here's our mold. nice and clean. And here's our rock, nice looking rock casting. The scenery products presented in this video are all available from Scenic Express at www.scenicexpress.com.